Welcome to the Knitting Yak virtual edition. Today's guest is Caitlin Hunter.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm so grateful that you decided to do it with us. It's a good hour. We can just relax and I can see that you're actually knitting. So I'm keep moving back.
Yeah. I'm working on another, so this sweater that's coming out in June, I'm just making another version of it because I liked it so much.
Is the glam?
Yeah, glam. Yeah.
And it's coming out in June, yeah?
Yeah, like the first week of June. We're waiting for the Spin Cycle girls to get a nice big shipment of their metamorphic,
Yeah. We just did. I just posted the test knitting. Amy is doing the test knitting for us and for you. And we are test knitting with our a mix of our Baby Yak and Tibetan Cloud. And we did a marble and really, really nice.
It looks really good. I can't wait to touch it in person because I know that's the thing about your yarn is so soft and beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Oh, yes, and you have it. Yes.
I do.
That's actually one of the color that we have chosen. The yellow one is that we have chosen for the test knit. So it's good. So I see, as usual, we will try to answer any question that you might have. We might not be able to go through all of the questions. Maybe, we're just chatting away. Sometimes I don't want to interrupt Caitlin while she's talking. So if we don't answer your questions today, you can always type them up on our comments. And remember that the video goes live now. It will go on our IGTV tomorrow probably, and also on our new YouTube channel. So if you're not familiar, we also started a new YouTube channel if you want to join us there. So you can see Caitlin everywhere. It's going to be like all over.
Oh boy.
So talking about boys, you just said boys, and so this is really Mother's weekend, and tomorrow is Mother's Day in many countries, which is one of the few holiday or moments that is celebrated, I think, both here in the US and in Europe at the same time. For some reason, Father's Day is different, and whatever other days are different. My Mother's Day is the same, maybe because moms are more important. And I thought it was nice to have you as as a mom of 3 boys, if I'm not wrong. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And to have you, so actually, this is our gift to you, the hour.
It's a good one.
So you have 3 boys, and that's also the reason why your Ravelry name and Instagram name is what it is, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. When I was starting this business, I didn't know what to call it, and I had just been taking care of boys nonstop for I think 5 years at that point, and it was the only thing I could think of. I was just like, I live in Boyland, and it was a kind of a failure of creativity, I think. And that's the only thing I could think of to name it.
But it's very nice. And
I see another mom of 3 boys.
Hi. Yeah. You can, and I believe that if I'm not mistaken, I think that knitting was for you a way to find more of your feminine side with the 3 boys and a partner. So you have 4 men in your life. So maybe knitting was like a way to find your feminine side somewhere there, or?
I think so. I think it helps bring balance into my life. It's we live in a really isolated place. We don't have neighbors really, and I don't see other people that often. So it's just me and the boys, and doing something like that's traditionally a more feminine craft. I don't know. It's nice. The boys I try to get them to knit, but none of them are interested yet.
You never say never.
My coffee.
So you started your I think you started your career as a menswear designer. Is that correct? I mean, your first dip into fashion and layout and pattern is in menswear design.
Yes. I went to school for fashion design, and I got my first job in a menswear company. It wasn't necessarily my passion to go into menswear, but I always liked it. So yeah, I worked for that company for 2.5 years, I think, altogether. But
right. And how did you move from that into where you are now? I know you moved from you're originally from Alaska?
I'm originally from Alaska, and then I went to Seattle for school and met my husband there, and then that's where I worked as well when I was in fashion. And then we got married, and he got a job opportunity in Wyoming. And so, and his job like really was way more important for our family financially than my job was at that time, and I wasn't really passionate about what I was doing. So we took the opportunity to move, and I put my career on hold for a little while. I actually got a job as a newspaper journalist at the little town we lived in Wyoming, because I was just kind of lost and trying to figure out what to do. And but then I got pregnant with twins, and then we had another baby 2 years after that, and so that's all I did for a little while. So then and then the knitting business just kind of happened sort of by accident. I had knit since I was in high school, but it wasn't really a very serious hobby for me. It was just sort of a thing I did sometimes on the side. And I got yarn when my youngest was like 3, and I started knitting, and I just kind of really got into it then, like for the first time. And it's sort of I realized that I was a designer and I could design knitting patterns. It didn't, I don't know, I didn't really think about that when I started knitting, that it was also fashion design.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. But I think that not many people know that. I mean, you are so talented, and in a way you have reason to fame in a way very quickly, over compared to maybe other people that took more years because of maybe, also the social media and everything else. But, the talent is at the core of it. I don't think that many people know that you have not been designing for so many years. I think you started, because if you say that you started when your youngest was 3, and I think he's what, 6 years old, around 6, 7 years old now?
So he's 8 now. And I started getting the idea, I started knitting again when he was 3, and I started designing when he was 4 or 5. Yeah, it was, I don't know, I just didn't really realize that I could design knitting patterns. It was a sort of like a brain failure on my part, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, how quickly and how and how beautifully you start designing and creating, and the process that you have gone through, and the beautiful pattern that you put out there. I mean, that is so incredible. I mean, you're so talented as well.
Thank you.
And I think that your design are beautiful because one is different from the other. It's not the similar thing with different colors or just a different, a different wave or a different stitch. They are completely different from one from the other. So where do you get your inspiration?
That's a hard one. It comes kind of from everywhere. I get bored really easily, and I don't want to do the same thing more than once. This is actually the first time I've ever knit a pattern more than once, but it's such a different yarn, and that I don't know, I guess, and maybe it's quarantine brain is giving me a little bit more calm than I normally have. But yeah, I don't know, I'm inspired by everything. Sometimes it's a song, or sometimes it's like a idea I hear in a book or a podcast that sort of sparks like a cascade of ideas, like I'm really inspired by, right now, I've always really loved John Prine, the singer-songwriter who recently passed away because of coronavirus. But his songs have always been really inspiring for me. And like the song Paradise, he sings about a place in Kentucky, a small town that used to be, a really beautiful place. And then the coal mines came and stripped the land away. And just thinking about those kind of ideas. Sorry, can you hear me okay still?
Yes. I'm just trying to read the comments as well. But
I don't know. Then you just think about the colors and the feeling. It's hard to explain. There's always like a flood of ideas and inspiration happening. And it's the hard part is whittling it down to things that I can actually accomplish, because I only have 2 hands and so much time in the day.
But,
does that answer your question? I
think it's, it looks like you should have no time whatsoever with the 3 boys and a farm. I mean, you even have, I know you have you do have a farm, or you live in a farm, or.
We have a tree farm, which is like the easiest kind of farm for lazy people. You plant the trees and then you wait 30 years to harvest them, because it's like a timber farm. So
Right.
that's like it's a pretty low maintenance farm, but we do have a big garden and there's always work to do on the farm, like with, because we heat our house with wood heat only, so there's always wood to split and stack, and we have chickens and
Yeah, so the chicken, yeah.
mhm.
So where do you
I
find time to knit and design?
Uh,
What?
I use it as an excuse to avoid housework and things I don't want to do. So, like, and I don't like feeling like I'm not doing anything. So if I'm watching a show in the evening, I'm always knitting. Um, I don't know. It's something I have to do, I think, to feel balanced. You know what I mean? I have to create things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Now, what about homeschooling these days? So homeschooling 3 must be pretty hard. I have trouble with 1, so.
Yeah, I don't know. How are you doing? Is it good?
There are good days and bad days. Today was a bit of a crazy day, so.
It's hard. It's hard. We live in a really rural area, and so our internet is really unreliable and really spotty. So because of that, our school isn't doing like Zoom classroom meetings like a lot of places are, because they can't provide that access to all of the students, and a lot of the students don't have technology to do that. So we just get a packet that the bus delivers, at the top of our driveway every week, and they've got to somehow get through that, and I take pictures and send it to their teachers. And I mean, so it's all on me. We have a phone call once a week with their teachers to check in, but
Yeah.
basically I'm just trying to get them to do some work and play outside and stay off their like try not to play video games. It's hard. It's super hard. I don't know how, because everybody's like, there's the one half that's like, oh, you've got to keep your kids on track. You've got to make sure they're doing their schoolwork. But then at the same time, people are saying it's a pandemic. Take it easy. Don't worry. Don't get stressed. But you've got these conflicting messages. And I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate to that. So we're just trying to do our best. And
exactly. I think some days it's like, that's it. Today we are not doing much. And another day I'm trying to catch up. And we had the same. We actually have just lots of PDFs sent to us by email. We have to download them, teach classes. So I never thought of myself trying to teach some science experiments or like math or,
How old is your?
He's 6.
You have a son.
6 and a
He's
half,
6.
So
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's nice. I think it would be harder if they were older. The twins are in 5th grade and the younger is in 3rd grade. So I can handle their work. But if they were like high school or even junior high, it would be even more challenging. So hats off to everybody out there, parents and non-parents. It's hard.
Yeah, but we do what we can. I think we just try to enjoy the day and trying to be safe and keep going. But so let's talk about your some of your designs have just like gone like so big, like everybody's knitting them, everybody wants to wear them, and there have been years during whether it's Rhinebeck or other big events where everybody's wearing one of your design. How does that make you feel when you see so many people wearing that year, whether it's the Swan Show or something else, or the Birkin or one of these designs that everybody's knitting with different yarns? And how does it make you feel when you see that?
I mean, it's awesome. It feels really great to know that something I did is resonating with so many people. Like going to Rhinebeck for the first time was really awesome, to see all the people who were so different from different backgrounds. And because as an artist, like when something you do touches a lot of people, I think that's really the goal of all artists, because I want to make something that makes people feel as happy as it made me feel when I was creating it. I just want to put something into the world that brings just a little bit more beauty and happiness to people. And when that happens, there's just no better feeling. I mean, it's very overwhelming though, because I don't really understand why certain designs go viral. Like, I mean, I see other designers who I think are I mean, honestly, I see a lot of designers, I'm like, that person's way more talented than I am, or their designs are so beautiful and they don't catch on necessarily at this in the same way. And I don't understand why some things do and some things don't. So it's a conflicting feeling too, because I'm like, I don't, I want everybody to be successful and feel, but it's a great and wonderful thing to be able to make people happy and bring joy to the world and help encourage more people to knit, because I think it's a hobby that makes the world a better place for the most part. People slow down and, hey, Tristan. Sorry, I haven't really been looking too much at those, but I just saw one.
Just trying to
I
get.
don't know. I think I overthink it and it stresses me out sometimes. But I don't worry, like when I design something, I never think like I need to make something that's going to be a big hit. I just design what moves me. And then it's always scary when I go to publish a pattern. I'm like, everybody could hate this, and people, could think it's terrible. Nobody buys it. And that's a really hard feeling for an artist or a creator of any kind. But I just kind of like cover my eyes and just press, publish. And
but don't you think that at this point, I was trying to find a page actually, but don't you think at this point, where you are in your career is people are very much in love with your design. So anything that you will design, unless it's something, I can't even think of something that you probably designed that nobody will like. But don't you think that you're quite confident? Do you feel confident that your design, once you put it out there, it will go well? Maybe we'll not make, like million copies, but it will be a steady income for you as well, and it will be loved by a lot of people. Don't you have that confidence at this point, or still not?
No. No. No, it's always like they like me today, but tomorrow they might hate me. And I think I don't know, I think it's kind of
nobody's going to hate you.
Well, but I think that's good to keep the perspective that you're not just going to be like, whatever you do is not going to be loved. And I do it for myself. We're very fortunate that my husband has a full-time job. So, we have two incomes that we rely on, both of our incomes, but it's not just me or just him. We're a dual income family, and
that's good.
We're fortunate that we don't have to rely completely on what I do, but so I'm able to like be a little bit freer with my art, I feel like, than if I was the sole breadwinner for our family.
Right. And I was looking for a page because I wanted to talk a little bit. You talked about your artistic expression. And one of the things I love about your pattern, besides they're very well written and easy to follow, is the drawing that you make for each one of them. So I just picked Sunset Highway, just make sure. So can you tell us a little bit about the drawing that you make for each one of them, and what is the inspiration? Do you do the drawing before doing the sketch and the drawing before you start knitting it, or is that after, for example?
So the sketch I do last, because I rarely sketch a design before I knit it. Usually it kind of evolves on the needles. Sometimes I'll have a bit of an idea, but it usually changes as I knit it. So it's kind of the last thing I do. And I love drawing. I've always loved drawing. It was probably my first artistic love. When I was a kid, I drew all the time, and I used to want to be a children's book author. So it's kind of like a treat to myself to be able to do a drawing at the end. And I just think it's fun, and it's a little something special extra for a pattern that makes it.
Yeah. It makes it really nice. I love drawing and I love colors, and that's one of the things that really attracts me. I always, when I get a pattern, the first thing I click is to see that, I'll actually look at the drawing, and then I look at the instructions. And I know that this is somebody else already asked you that in the past, but would you ever consider doing a coloring book with your drawing? Because that would be amazing.
We need to convince my mom to move here to Oregon so she can do childcare for me, so I have more time to work, so I can do more of this stuff. Because I'm really just, as it is, I'm just squeezing in work at odd moments and hours. When the boys were in school, it was a little bit easier to have kind of regular work hours, but Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody was asking about the shawl that I'm wearing. I was like, oh, finally somebody's asking. So yeah, no, this is not kitten. Yes, of course it is. This is the Teroldigo shawl, and I was just showing the drawing of it, and so Teroldigo is a wonderful wine, and that's one of the wine. Is that because you like the wine as well that you named it Teroldigo, or?
Yeah, well, that shawl I designed for my local yarn store, Naughty Lamb. They had an event at a local winery here, and they wanted me to do a design for this event. And so I hate naming things. It's one of the worst parts for me of designing. So I always am like, woo. But so I looked at that winery, and I was looking at their list of wines, and most of them were names that there was already a lot of patterns with that name, like, you know, Pinot Noir or whatever. And Teroldigo was a type of wine that they have there that nobody had ever named any knitting pattern that. So that's why. And it's really good too. I bought a bottle of it, and it was fantastic.
Oh, good. And the color that we chose for it is the reminiscence of Teroldigo wine as well. And it's huge. I mean, when I had it on, it's like when I saw it knitted, you know, I didn't knit this, by the way. We have sample knitter doing for us. It's absolutely amazing. This is really, really, really beautiful, and it keeps going. And I just love, because it's so different. You have the little leaves here, but the motif, the lace, and the stripes. It's really beautiful.
I don't know if you guys can hear the kids screaming outside. Sorry.
It's okay, I didn't hear it. And we knit ours in the 3 colors with our Baby Yak silk. Is 50% Baby Yak and 50% silk, which makes, you know, we have a lot of the colors, and makes something very good for spring and summer, but in a way also for winter, that if you want something. It was very nice and warm on my neck as well. You know, we talked about Teroldigo actually, so which brings me to ask you about is there a fascination with Italy? Because some of your design are like of a series that has to do with Italy. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. I love Italy. I think it's beautiful, and the people are wonderful, and the food is wonderful, and I would love to be there right now. When I was
now, isn't it?
maybe well, I mean, if things were normal, I would love to be there right now. So I became obsessed with Italy when I was in high school for some reason. I don't remember why. I don't know why, but I was really into opera and Italian food. And then I did an exchange year when I was a junior. I went to Switzerland, and I was in the southeastern part of Switzerland, which is really close to the Italian border. And I went to Italy a lot when I lived there. I was really fortunate. My exchange company provided me with a rail pass that I could go anywhere in Switzerland. And I skipped school sometimes, and I just went to Italy by myself and just wandered around, and or even just to the Italian part of Switzerland, Bellinzona. And I don't know, I just love it there, and it's one of my favorite places in the world.
Oh wow! So we have to do something in Italy together. I mean, you know.
Okay.
My yak is Italian, so.
I know. Oh, hey, from Lugano. I love Lugano.
Yes, and Biella, I mean, it's not that far. It's where our headquarters are. And I believe that is from that time in Switzerland that you remember the name Tegna?
No, I just looked at a map. Okay. It's hard to name things because there's
of course.
There's so many patterns on Ravelry that already have names, so it's always like, and I mean, you can name something that already has that name, but it's nice to have a fresh name, because when someone searches it, then they just find the one.
Yeah.
Hi Yama, this is the new pattern, Gloam. It's coming out in a month, or in the beginning of June. Yama
fiber is wonderful. I love them. I love the fiber. We had a lot of Yama fiber when Susan came to Copper from Loop London. She came to do the pop-up in November. And there was all this beautiful Yama fiber out there. And I remember a few of the customers that were there, they were just like grabbing it like that and going away with mountains of it. And then I started
beautiful.
I said, oh my God, by the time I decided to get some, it was gone, sold out. You know, so next time that Susan comes to New York for a pop-up, I think she has to triple the amount of yama. It was beautiful. And, you know, that linen, which was a little bit similar to our silk as well, but, you know, it's just a little bit a different touch. It was really beautiful. So I'm happy she's here. You see, I don't talk just about mYak. But going back to Tegna. So Tegna is the design, and I just posted today on Instagram, is one of the design that when it came out is, I was in love. I just wanted this. I really, you know, I wanted it so badly, but I didn't think that my skills was up to it. And I, you know, I tell the story in my post. So I asked my neighbor in Italy. She's a very good knitter. And I went there and I actually printed for her all of the pattern, all of your patterns. I just went with a stack of your patterns and I say, oh, so which one do you want to make first? And she asked me, which one do you want first? And I said, Tegna. And she did, she knitted it, and she started in January, and I was supposed to pick up the sample in April. Now I was supposed to go back to Italy. I go every few months to be home, to go back home. And of course, you know, COVID came, and so I'm stuck in New York. No, stuck, I'm happy to be here, of course. But that sample is waiting for me. And what we did, we took my two favorite colors, which is the night flower and the dusty pink. And we, you know, in the lace weight, this is a heavier weight, and we marled it together, and it became really, really beautiful. Yeah, I can't wait to have it and wear it because it's so, you know, it's nice in the Baby Yak Lace, so it becomes a fingering because you double it up. And and it was like a little dream that I had to have your Tegna, and now I have it. I just don't have it.
Thank you so much. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to. I mean, one day we will gather again.
Yes. And well, you know, we saw each other in New York in January. So you came to our event there, so we had a little chat. There was always too many people and too crazy to to actually have a proper chat. And I know also that you don't like crowds, correct? You don't really,
no.
You're not really happy with crowds.
No, I am a pretty severe introvert. I would rather be alone. I mean, I really love to see people, but crowds really overwhelm me.
Right. So and we talked about your fascination with Italy. I'm trying to see. I thought I had things more organized. And so the Marettino is the other pattern. Oh, here they are. Sorry, the Navelli. Yeah? This is another beautiful drawing that you did. Oh,
I have mine right here.
Oh, good. You see? Fantastic. So that's it. Can you show it better? I think that show your pattern better. There's so much better than...
I really like this one.
This one is really... So this one is an Axon needles as well.
Oh, yay.
Yes. I mean, I don't know, again, because of the Italian name or the connection, the design, that I really love. Actually, you know, I love yokes, but having that design at the bottom to me is because I like to wear a scarf as well. So having that design at the bottom is really, really wonderful. So, and it's very, you know, it's boxy, so it's easy to wear. And I think it will fit most shapes as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And Navelli is a little town in Abruzzo. Have you ever been there, or?
No, I have a test knitter, Geraldine. Do you know?
Yes.
I don't know if you. She helps. She sometimes helps me come up with names for my. I have the series that I call the Knitily series, and she helps me with the names for those because she's Italian and she's got lots of lovely ideas. So she suggested that one.
And Navelli, yes, is a little town in Abruzzo famous for saffron. And
I think she was inspired by the color, the saffron.
Yeah, and so maybe we can ask Geraldine to knit that one for us as well. What am I doing with all my colors here? And I think because we had a client, Teresa, who did who actually did knitted with our saffron color from our Baby Yak and silk. You would think by now I'm more organized. And of course I don't have it. Oh, I dropped it. But and that was the second, you know, one of the colors that we had. She did all the colors together with the yellow, and it was really, really beautiful. I don't know what's happening today. But I think that would be, you know, beautiful, another beautiful pattern to follow. And the last one of that series is the Marettino, yeah?
I think that's the last one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And Marettino is a little island in Sicily, which is a beautiful
Have you
place.
been there?
I've been close. I've been to Favignana, which is the island closer to that. I've never been to Marettino, but Sicily is one of my favorite places. I'm from the north, but Sicily is definitely one of my favorite places in Italy.
Well, my secret plan is to name all these sweaters after places that I want to go. So then I have a reason to go there, and I can call it a business trip, and maybe we can all go together and make a big Knitily tour and wear our sweaters, our matching sweaters in these little towns, and scare all the locals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I see that Geraldine is actually following us. Hi, Geraldine. Yeah. And I was waiting to see whether she was there, because this is what she knitted for us. And this has been such a showstopper.
I love that. I got to see that one. It's so pretty.
Yeah. And so Geraldine knitted this with our mustard and black in the Baby Yak medium, and is absolutely a stunner. I mean, this is gorgeous. I think this is one of the most beautiful sweater that it's just one size. I mean, this is a small, and you know, we have beautiful pictures of other people wearing it, but I even put it on, and it almost fit me, which is I don't wear a small, but this one is it's just the crop, everything, the design, the colors that we chose, and then, you know, for people that want to know, the mustard is back in stock from next week. So we have a kit up on our website. So if you want to grab some, I would just advise you to go and order it, because you know, it will go out of stock again. But you know, this is amazing. She did such a great job. I mean, I don't know, Geraldine needs so many sweaters, I think once a week.
I don't know how she does it.
I have no idea how she does it too, but we were so happy that she tried our Baby Yak, and she knit this one for us. And I actually have my other dream. I had two dreams. One is the Soldotna crop, which has been crazy. Everybody's crazy about this one. It's all messed up because I just cast it on. So this is, so many people have made this one. It's do you want to say what is the inspiration behind this one? Is there anything?
You know, that one was designed for Naughty Lamb again, the local yarn store. They invited me to do a design for them for the Rose City Yarn Crawl, which is a big yarn event here in the Portland area. Yeah. And I did it with my friend Heather, who does House of a la Mode yarn. And the inspiration for it really was to design something that would be fast and fun to knit, and that wouldn't use too much yarn, so that it could be approachable for a lot of knitters for on a price, you know, for price reasons, and for just like skill reasons. I wanted it to be something that like beginner knitters could easily do, and that would be fun. For me, it's fun when there's a lot of like changing of the pattern and the designs. It keeps you interested as you knit, and I just wanted it to be a quick, fun, fast knit, and I think that turned out, and people liked it.
Yeah. People are asking a lot of the names of the pattern that we are talking about. You know, I remind everybody, this is a personal selection. It's just truly my selection. I did not agree in advance with Caitlin which pattern to talk about, because I wanted to be more spontaneous. Of course, is what I like, and might be, you know, Caitlin has so many patterns up on the Ravelry store. So if you just go on a Ravelry store, you will see all of them, and you can just put them in your cart and get all of them, because you can't go wrong with any of them. And if you want to see what we have been doing and trying to make, you know, connect colors to patterns, just go on our website and type in any of the patterns that we have. And, you know, if you follow us on Instagram, we will post most of them. We posted some, we will post in the next few days as well. And I just want you to show my koiwa, sorry, my soldotna, and these are the.
Oh, is it kind of twins with what I have?
Look.
Not quite. These are what I got. I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but I ordered a big stack of the Tibetan cloud.
It's yeah, I was like so happy when you placed that order. I was like, whoa, maybe she's doing something. I was so
yeah, I have to get this off the needles, and then I get to do something with this.
Wow, you see, guys, you know, even before me, we just heard it together. That's wonderful. I'm looking forward to it. And so one of the things, one of the other design, it must much simpler. It's not your color work, your usual color work, but the white horse, and the drawing, even the drawing, I'm trying to make sure that we don't have, there is no pattern. Even the drawing is so nice and so beautiful. This is something that everybody could wear. And Mary from Amerizo, she made a sample, and actually we have her picture up on our website with our Baby Yak medium, and somebody else has done it with our cloud. This is the same one that you have, and it's so, and you know, somebody has done it with the medium, and it's so gorgeous. I've seen so many, actually, so many of my clients have made this in cashmere, in Baby Yak, in cloud. You could just do it with any yarn. It looks like wonderful in any type of yarn that you choose. So this is it. But it has to do with your love for horses, or no?
No, I don't remember why I named it that. I think it was one of my Alaska town, because there's a place in Alaska called Whitehorse, or is that in British Columbia? Someone will correct me. It's just a place, and it sounds cool. I hate naming patterns. That's my true secret.
But you have wonderful names. I mean, it's really interesting. I don't know, they come up from you know, really nice, and you always think like, oh, where did she get that name? Why did she name it that way? And it's really, really nice. What is that? It's somebody was asking.
Hey, Candace.
Somebody was
BC. See.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. I knew it was up there somewhere.
Of course,
but it's like, you know.
To correct. Yes, there you go. Somebody was asking about the pattern that you have behind you, which is it's a new design that's coming next week. It's called the Jupiter crop. It's inspired by our beautiful rooster. I actually love the picture that you have on Instagram next to the chicken house. Is it called the crop? What you call it?
The coop. The chicken coop.
Yes, that's how you call it.
Thank you.
I love that. I like that picture. It was really nice. And so there's you know, there's so many patterns that we could talk about, but as I have it, I was really, really, really trying to find the time to knit your time trades. I started it.
Oh my gosh. Your version is so beautiful. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's killing me.
I was really trying to have it made, have it done by our interview. And I almost felt like postponing you to 2026 because to try to.
Well, that's actually a good one to take your time on, because that one, the name on that one is actually one that is like more meaningful to me. It's named after a song called Time Trades by Jeffrey Lewis. And it's about trading your time for a skill. Like, time is going to take so much away, but there's a way that time can offer you a trade. It's a beautiful idea, and it really moved me. And I feel like knitting is a good example of a good time trade. So take your time.
For me, is you know, I can only do like a few rows a day with everything else I have going on, and but when I sit down, especially when I get excited, is when I can move from one color to the other. And I had this conversation with Andrea Mauri as well, that how I like to fade with solid, that you don't need, of course, the beautiful yarn, hand-dye yarn with speckles and everything else out there. I just, it's just not me. And, but, fading with our solid, and you can just go with any of the colors. So I thought, like, maybe I fake it and I just put it on like this.
Yeah, it's done. Look.
Yes, I'm done. Just,
yeah.
But this is, and that's what I was saying is, the way you write the patterns are very easy to follow. I even learned how to read a chart because Amy forced me to, who is reading. Today is Amy's birthday, by the way. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Amy.
And, she forced me to read a chart because I was making the same mistake because I was not following the instructions. She said, just read the chart. It's so much easier. So, but, so I'm just taking my time with this one. And I think that, thank you, Archana. I think somebody was asking you, what are your favorite needles? Way back 20 minutes ago, somebody was asking.
I like, I don't even know how you say it. Chiagu? How do you say those?
Yeah, Chiagu.
Chiagu? Chiagu. They're my favorite because I'm using them right now. The cable is strong but super flexible. They're nice and pointy. And when you twist them, like I have the interchangeables, they stay together pretty well, better than some others that I've used. So yeah, they're my favorite.
If somebody is asking me as I see this, my ones are the signature. And I know they're a little bit more expensive than others, but they are pointed. You have different point. This one are the stiletto one. You have, 4 inches or 5 inches. And I just feel that on our yarn, they go really, really well with any type of both the Baby Yak and the silk. So it's different options out there. I think it's true, the needles are very, very personal to every knitter, like stitch markers or all the tools that we have. So what is that you miss the most? I mean, you spend a lot of time at home and surrounding your home. You can still walk outside. You have a lot of nature outside. But what is the thing that you miss the most, or that you want to go back and do once once COVID is
travel? I like staying home. I think it's good for all of. And I don't want to say the wrong thing because this is really hard for a lot of people, and for most people it's hard, but I think it's good to kind of reset what's normal, for us, and to kind of appreciate simpler things a bit more. I'm hoping that a lot of people feel that, like, and they need less, because we were just destroying the planet too fast and it is painful. But I miss traveling. I miss going to the honky tonk, the local dive bar. I miss that, but not that much. I like having more time with the family, even when they drive me crazy. I like having time to work in my garden and to not feel pressure to do social obligations. It's nice.
But you still but do you miss one of the reasons why we are doing this chat is because people felt that they missed that kind of connection and that moment in where the community can get together, whether it's just for an hour or a little bit longer. And I'm not for crowds either. Even at my own events, if I could just hide or try to stay in a corner, I would. And for me to start doing this chat, it took a while. If you ask the people that know me, it was, they pushed me to try to do it. And I said, well, nobody's going to listen. Nobody's going to watch them. And I don't know what to say. But I found instead, this richness in our community and such a support and need in a way of feel more connected in the way that we are. We do all need this, and I hope that we will not lose it. Life will be different anyway. It is going to change for many of us, and there's lots of difficulties, and things are not going to be easy. And I think you're right. I do hope as well that people will be more attentive, more careful with the resources they have, the way they live their lives, and the waste they produce. I'm just thinking, you know, going outside, you breathe better. You know, just the air is better because of you know, because of less pollutions, and the water looks cleaner. And you know, God knows if we can keep that one up. I think, you know, hopefully it will not be that in just a few weeks, once things will open up in, you know, across the world, we just go back and busy life and busy work, and we forget about everything else. And you're right, you know, we especially with our children, they drive us mad, and it's tough, but we should cherish this moment because it might not come back as much as much as we wish. So is you know, it's good to have that. Is somebody in yoga? Oh, okay. Yeah, I wish I had the time to do that as well. It's funny how you think that because you're in quarantine, you have all this time to do things, but you know, the day just flies by between cleaning,
so busy.
It's busy.
So busy.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, for me, like I don't have a knitting circle. I don't see other knitters in real life. So I see them when I travel for like events, you know. And so that happens just a couple times a year. So I feel like I'll feel it more after a couple more months of this, because I'll often go like months without seeing other knitters in person.
Yeah.
And being able to have, you know, Instagram and things like that have made it feels fine. It hasn't been something that I'm used to anyways, you know, seeing people regularly. Yeah.
Well, so, you know, in a way, we think that by the time things will open up and things will be safer and back to normal, maybe, you know, not next year, but God knows, in a year, in 2 years or whenever, I think we will need to have to make one of our retreats with you in Italy, so you can get finally back to Italy with the children as well. We can have a family trip, or we just leave them at home for a few days.
Yeah. And
we can enjoy your time together there. That's, you know, that's a dream as well, to try to go back and do this retreat. And we love spending time with a group of knitters and see about that. But there is one more panel that you know, that I love flowers, I love nature, and we would just talk about the beauty of the environment that we have around us. And I think your Birkin is really one of the, you know, most flowery design that you have made. And it's been, you know, to date, so many people are still knitting this one. This one first appeared on Line magazine. I think it's the second issue of Line. And it's so beautiful. I mean, I've seen so many versions, and
thank you.
We have our version as well. We've done it we will do it with the Baby Yak, our Baby Yak Lace, combined with the Baby Yak silk. So we have all of the flowers. So there's going to be a little bit more shyness to it. Of course, I lost my yellow, and like, you know, in a different base. So you will see this one knit up eventually. We're just taking our time, as you say, you know, one stitch at a time, one pattern at a time. We have a long list. But what was the inspiration behind that one?
Well, that one was a response to a call for patterns or call for designs from Line magazine, and their inspiration for that issue was Scandinavian spring. And I guess my vision was like a young woman sitting in a field of wildflowers, and she made a crown of wildflowers, and like to take that crown and put it around your shoulders as a yoke was kind of where I went from that. And when I was researching that idea, I found a picture of the actress Jane Birkin.
Oh yeah.
Like that really captured that idea. She's sitting in a field with a beautiful crown of wildflowers, and so that's where the name of it came from, of her. But it was just the idea of a flower crown on your shoulders. Oh
wow, that's nice. It's beautiful. Now you've designed both shawls and sweater and hats, and do you have a favorite thing to design, or do you tend to
sweaters?
Why is that?
For me, they're the most fun because there's a lot of change. Like, so you get through the yoke and then you get to split for the sleeves and then you get to do the sleeves and then you're done. I find shawls horribly boring to knit. I love them and I love to wear them, but for me it's boring because it's just flat and it feels like it goes on forever. And hats are too small. So sweaters are the most fun. Because you can really play with the different shapes and there's a lot of room for experimentation with sweaters.
It's I love both of them. I love the sweaters and I love the shawl. I think like hundreds and thousands of people out there have the same, but it's nice to see the variety as well. And I like how you have that variety as well. I can't believe that I think we almost come to an end. And now that I look it up, wow, this was fast. I'm sorry to make you.
That's okay.
Short. I wish I could keep you here for the entire day so you could escape and have more time to relax.
Oh, I've got other things to do. I'll stay hidden all day.
But somebody says I love my Ninil Swoncho. Yeah, that was one of the actually question that I have. How do you pronounce it?
Ninilchik.
Oh, Ninilchik. Oh, Ninilchik.
Yeah, that's a little town in Alaska that I have family that lives there, and I spent a lot of time there growing up. It's a really beautiful little fishing town.
Yeah, this one as well. And I think we put it up on our website with some fun colors as well. I think we probably something like, I think these are the colors.
That's going to be pretty.
As well. So if anybody wants to go on a website to check them out, I'm so grateful. I was, I just, to be honest, I could, when you said that you agreed to come on the chat with me, my heart skipped a bit because I'm such a fan of your work. And I'm looking forward to see what you will design with Ariane and see what you think. But
I'm just going to spend the rest of the afternoon cuddling my cloud, my Tibetan cloud. Thank you so much for having me.
It was so nice. Thank you everybody for joining us. It's been a fun afternoon. This has been a real special treat for me. And I wish I had so many other questions, but unfortunately the time has run out. So I wish you a good afternoon, a wonderful Mother's Day to you and to all of the moms out there. Thank you so much and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Paola. Thank you, everybody. Happy Mother's Day.